San Francisco city leaders spoke out today about the last night's violent protests and how the city is now preparing for more activity this week. Our Lauren Toms has the message from Mayor Daniel Lurie.
San Francisco is starting to prepare for wider scale demonstrations, closely watching developments with our neighbors in Los Angeles. But city officials today insisting they are prepared to handle any civil unrest using local law enforcement and without federal intervention. City crews spent the day cleaning graffiti off the walls of the Federal Immigration Building in downtown San Francisco after what started as a peaceful rally turned violent later Sunday evening. Authorities say 148 adults and 6 juveniles were arrested Sunday night. Demonstrators were met by police officers in riot gear. SFPD says 2 officers were injured. The arrested protesters were cited and released except for one person charged with felony assault of an officer. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie condemned the violence, insisting that the city is prepared to respond to further demonstrations.
We have to protect the people of San Francisco, and that includes our sheriffs, our first responders, our police, our fire. Attacks on them is an attack on a San Franciscan, and that will not stand.
By Monday, the immigration building became a backdrop for quiet observation as dozens of onlookers stopped to see the damage done. Bay Area resident Amara Alati says the vandalism is a sign that the people don't feel heard.
People have always protested for what they believed in. People have always taken peaceful measures. This happened in 2020 with Black Lives Matter. So I feel like this is another iteration of that. People just need to be heard, and they will take any measure to be heard. So I hope they do end up heard.
But City Attorney David Chu sounded the alarm about peaceful protests that crossed the line into violence.
Donald Trump wants the violence. The Trump administration manufactured this crisis in Los Angeles, and vandalism and violence play right into their hands.
It's an issue that could ignite a political firestorm, says political expert David McEwen, as city officials attempt to toe the line between support for the immigrant community and rights to free speech and penalizing violence, all under the looming threat of federal intervention.
You would have to forecast that cities across the country, particularly bluer cities, cities that are identified as sanctuaries, cities of politicians that are considered different in terms of their political stripes than that of Donald Trump, would likely be targeted. So if the Trump administration turns up the heat, it potentially spills over to localities, and politicians have a real worry about what that looks like in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, and throughout the long, hot summer that's forecast.
Lurie says the city will continue to uphold its sanctuary city policies, standing by the immigrant community and those who speak out against increasing deportations.
I want to thank the hundreds of people who exercise their fundamental right to protest peacefully, and the hundreds of law enforcement officers and city workers who protected that right yesterday. I understand why people are out on the streets. The tactics being used across the country to target immigrant communities are meant to instill fear.
Now, Mayor Daniel Lurie stopped short of detailing communication with any federal authorities, but the San Francisco County Sheriff says it is preparing additional facilities ahead of potential mass arrests as anti-ICE protests are expected across the city.